Queen Esther, the orphan, the queen and the hero. Hello viewers, I welcome you to another episode of Heroes of Faith, and I will be discussing the life and legacy of Queen Esther, the orphan, the queen and the hero. There is a book in the Bible where God is never mentioned by name, where no voice thunders from heaven, no angel visits and no dramatic miracles take place, like the parting of seas or raining of fire. God is silent, and yet in this silence, God moves most powerfully. This is the story of Esther, an orphan girl who became a queen, a hidden Jew who risked her life to save her people, and a woman whose courage shifted the destiny of a nation. Though the divine name is never spoken, every twist of fate, every sleepless night, every reversal of power echoes with the soundless footsteps of a sovereign hand. Esther's story begins not with Esther, but with another queen. King Xerxes of Persia, the ruler of 127 provinces from India to Kush, throws a lavish 6-month feast in his capital city, Susa. The wine flows, the nobles cheer, the riches of the empire are flaunted. On the final day, in a drunken blaze of pride, the king demands that Queen Vashti appear before the guests to display her beauty. She refuses. The empire recoils. The king burns with fury, and with the stroke of a decree, Queen Vashti is deposed, her crown stripped, her throne empty. A vacancy is born, and somewhere in the shadows of the city, a girl named Hadassah prepares for destiny. The orphan and the crown. Hadassah is a Jewish girl, descended from the tribe of Benjamin, living in exile in Persia. Her parents are long dead. Her cousin Mordecai, a minor official in the city, raises her as his own. To the world, she is nothing. But when Xerxes seeks a new queen, a royal edict sweeps through the land. Every beautiful young virgin is to be brought to the palace for a year of beauty treatments. Hadassah is taken. At Mordecai's urging, she hides her Jewish identity. In the palace, she is given a new name, Esther, which means star. And the star begins to rise. Unlike the others, Esther wins favor, not just with the eunuch in charge, but with everyone who sees her. There is a grace in her, a wisdom, a silence that speaks volumes. When she is finally brought before the king, Xerxes is captivated. He crowns her queen with a golden diadem and declares a new feast in her honor. The Jewish orphan has become the queen of Persia. Even as Esther ascends the throne, danger stirs in the background. The king has dangerous enemies. Mordecai, who lingers daily at the palace gate to check on Esther, overhears a plot to assassinate the king. He reports it through Esther, and the plot is foiled. The name of Mordecai is recorded in the royal chronicles, but no reward is given. Then Haman came on the scene. Haman is a powerful noble, elevated above all other officials. He is obsessed with power and honor. All are ordered to bow before him. But Mordecai refuses, whether because of pride, principle, or faith, we are not told. But it is reasonable to conclude it is of faith, because God arose in his defense. Haman is enraged. He decides to destroy Mordecai. But it's not enough to destroy Mordecai alone. He plots genocide. He casts lots, Purim, to choose the date. Then he deceives the king. There is a people scattered through your provinces who do not obey your laws. It is not in the king's best interest to tolerate them, he says. A royal decree is sealed with the king's ring. On the 13th day of the 12th month, all Jews, young and old, men and women, are to be annihilated. The city of Susa falls into confusion, but Haman and the king sit down to drink. The news of impending doom strikes Mordecai. He dons sackcloth. He weeps in the streets. Jews across the empire fast and mourn. When Esther hears, she sends clothes to cover Mordecai. But Mordecai refuses. Instead, he sends a message. Do not think that because you are in the king's house, you alone will escape. If you remain silent, deliverance will arise from another place, but you and your family will perish. And who knows but that you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this? Esther trembles. She has not been summoned by the king in 30 days. To appear uninvited means death, unless the king extends the golden scepter. But the time for silence is over. Go, gather all the Jews in Susa. Fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days. Then I will go to the king, even though it is against the law. And if I perish, she said. On the 3rd day, Esther dresses in royal robes. She walks into the throne room, her heart pounding, every step a prayer. Xerxes looks up. His eyes meet hers, and he extends the golden scepter. So Esther lives. Whatever you wish, Queen Esther, even up to half the kingdom, it will be granted, declares the king. Esther plays her hand slowly. If it pleases the king, come to a banquet today, with Haman, she requests. The king agrees. Haman also, puffed with pride, prepares for the feast. At the banquet, the king repeats his offer. He would give Esther whatever she desires. But Esther delays again. Come to a second banquet tomorrow. Then I will reveal my request. Haman leaves elated. But outside the gate, he sees Mordecai, and the man still refuses to bow. So Haman's joy turns to rage. That night, Haman builds a gallows, 75 feet tall, to hang Mordecai the next morning. The sleepless night. Also that night, the king cannot sleep. He orders that the royal records be read aloud. The servant reads and then mentions the account of Mordecai's loyalty, the time he saved the king from assassination. King Xerxes sits up. What honor was given to this man? He asks. Nothing, the servant replies. Just then Haman enters, ready to request Mordecai's execution. But before he can speak, the king asks, what should be done for the man the king delights to honor? Haman, blinded by ego, assumes the king means him. He describes an extravagant parade, robes, horses, public praise. The king smiles. Excellent, he said. Go at once. Do all you have said for Mordecai the Jew. Humiliated, Haman leads his enemy through the streets, shouting his honor. That evening, the second banquet begins. Again the king asks, what is your request? Esther's moment has come. If I have found favor in your eyes, O king, grant me my life and the lives of my people, for we have been sold to be destroyed, killed, and annihilated, she requests. King Xerxes is stunned. Who would dare do such a thing? He demanded angrily. Esther turns, her voice steady. It is this vile Haman. The room explodes in chaos. The king storms out in fury. Haman, terrified, begs Esther for mercy, falling onto her couch. At that moment, the king re-enters and sees Haman sprawled over the queen. Will he even assault the queen in my presence? He roars. The guard seize Haman immediately, and a voice pipes up. There is a gallows Haman built for Mordecai. The king orders, hang him on it. And so Haman dies on his own gallows. However, the threat is not yet over. The royal edict, sealed with the king's ring, cannot be revoked. But Esther pleads again, and the king gives her and Mordecai the authority to write a new decree. A counter-edict is issued. On the day the Jews were to be destroyed, they may now defend themselves. The tide turns across the empire. Fear of the Jews spreads everywhere. Governors support them. When the day arrives, the Jews fight back and they triumph. In Susa alone, 800 of their enemies fall. Esther asks for a second day to defend the capital, and the king grants it. At the end, Haman's 10 sons are hanged, and justice is completed. The Jews establish a feast called Purim. This is named after the lots Haman cast, so that the people would always remember how God reversed their fate. They celebrate with feasting, gifts to one another, and care for the poor. Mordecai is elevated to power, second only to Xerxes. Esther remains queen, a silent star shining in the palace. Although the name of God is not mentioned, his fingerprints are everywhere in Esther's story. We see divinity at work in many ways. In a queen's refusal and a crown's vacancy. In an orphan's irresistible beauty and a king's favor. In a sleepless night and a remembered record. In a villain hoisted on a gallows meant for a Jew. Though God's voice is silent, his hand is never absent. Lessons from Esther's story. There are a number of great lessons to learn from Esther's story. 1. You don't need to be loud to be powerful. Esther was quiet but very powerful. Her influence, courage, and power with God changed an empire. 2. God is present even when he seems absent. God's name is not mentioned in Esther's story, but his fingerprints are all over the place. 3. Position is for purpose. Wherever we're placed, on the job, in the home, on a platform, let us do our best to be a blessing to humanity. It may be for such a time as this. Right timing is everything. Esther waited for the right moment, God's moment, to speak. She fasted and prayed. She moved as she was led, and everything worked in her favor. 5. Reversals are possible. What the enemy plans for your destruction, God is able to turn for your deliverance. That was the life and legacy of Queen Esther, the orphan, the queen, and the hero. I hope you were blessed by her story. Thank you for watching and listening. Look through our channel for other inspiring episodes. Please like and share this video. Also, subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell so that you will be notified whenever I drop a new, life-changing, and entertaining video. See you in the next video.